Hello ladies and gents, welcome to another repair video. Today we're going to be working on this Nintendo Switch which has been sent in. And this Switch in particular has been sent in because the port has been replaced twice and it only charges on one side of the cable. Now, I'm not sure who has attempted to change the port or what I'm going to find when I actually get inside, but hopefully we can figure it out and hopefully we can fix it. So I'm going to start off by plugging in a USB-C, and I get absolutely nothing, and looking on the USB amp meter I get absolutely nothing as well, so nothing at all there. Let's flip the port around, so flick it round that way. And there we get a charging symbol. So port is only charging one side. That's this might be a difficult one. So at the minute we're actually only getting 0.26 amps power draw, so that could indicate an issue with the board rather than the port. Okay, so let's take a look inside the port itself. Let's see if there's any damage there. And the port itself appears good, so okay, fine. So let's take it apart then and we'll see if we can figure out what's going on. Okay, so I'll skip through this process just because we've all seen a Nintendo Switch opened up before, so I'll skip through this bit and see you when it's open. One thing I've noticed straight away is that this screw hole here is broken. If you take a look there, the screw's still in there and the screw's just spinning inside the case itself. Oh, actually no, now it's come out. But the case itself is broken, so that will be noted down when this gets sent back. Okay, so we've got FIFA 19 in there. Okay, another thing, the metal chassis has been broken as well. Oh, okie dokie. No thermal paste applied to there. Copper tape has been removed, which is very annoying. I absolutely hate it when people do that. That's been broken as well. Okay, so there's all the ribbons out. So let's get this board out of the chassis then. Okay, so board is out. And first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go under the microscope and take a look at what's going on. Right, okay then, so taking a look at the board then, the area that I'm on right now is the USB-C port, and it actually looks okay, to be honest. That looks fine. What I'm going to do first is, I'm just going to check the condition of the soldering job. So I'm just going to take a pair of tweezers and just give all of these pins the nudge test. And those seem good. So all of those seem fine. Right, okay, so next I'm going to check the fuse just above where the USB-C port is. So this little component just here is actually a fuse, and occasionally when the ports get broken, it blows the fuse to prevent any damage to the board, depending on obviously the current that goes into the board on the short. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my multimeter into continuity mode. Continuity mode is a mode that's going to beep when we complete the circuit. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check this fuse here. And that appears good. Okay, so the fuse appears to be fine. We do have continuity across that. And next I'm going to check by popping one probe on ground and another probe on the bottom of these capacitors. No shorts. No short. No shorts. Okay. And that appears to be good. We don't appear to have any missing components. Right, okay, let's take a closer look at this chip. That chip doesn't look great. However, I've seen worse. Right, okay. I've definitely seen worse, but it doesn't look the best, does it? Looks like someone's been poking and prodding around the battery management IC as well. So let's check a few of these capacitors here for shorts to ground. So let's check this coil first. No short. Okay, they appear to be good. Oh no, no one's been poking here. That looks fine. That's fine. Just a bit of fluff on the chip. That chip looks fine as well. Although this one here is slightly discoloured as opposed to the rest of them. So that might be something to take into consideration here. There's a lot of flux around here. I mean, the problem is, without taking this port off, there's no real way we can see the bottom of it. Looking on the back seems fine. It seems okay, but the problem is we're not going to be able to know whether or not this port itself is soldered properly on the bottom. What I might do is, if I switch back over to my normal camera, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically reflow this chip, or sorry, not the chip, I'm going to reflow the port itself. So I'm going to pop the board over the edge of the table, and if we zoom in on this here, I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to heat up from the bottom. Right, so all I've done is just reflowed those joints, and if we pop back under the microscope, right, let's give it the nudge test again. Let's check and see, make sure that those pins on the bottom are still connected. And oh, okay, they are a bit loose. Right, so I'm gonna run over these with the soldering iron. Let's just add a bit of flux there. So I'm actually going to switch to a much thinner tip. Okay, let's give that a clean, see if we've got any bridges or not. I can't actually see that well. Okay, I'll just give that a dry off. Okay, that seems a lot better there. That appears to be a lot better there. Doesn't appear to be any bridges now. So what I'm going to do now is, if I switch back over to the main cam again, we're going to pop this into the housing. I'm not going to plug the screen or anything in because I can get the readings that I need off the USB amp meter. So plug that battery in, and then I'm just going to pop the charger in and just see if we get any reading at all now, or any different reading. Okay, so now I'm getting 0.23 amps on one side, still nothing on the other. What I might actually do, I think, is take the port off, and the reason for that is because I need to look at the bottom of it to make sure that it's not damaged before I go any further. So let's pop that on the edge of the table there, and I'm going to use my heat gun again, and this time I'm just going to remove the port. Okay, and yeah, as I expected, there's no damage under there. Absolutely no damage under there at all. So as I expected, it's nothing to do with the port by the look of it. I mean, even the actual port itself looks absolutely fine. So nothing to do with the port then. Might as well give that a clean while we're here. Okay. So let's just dry this off and then we'll pop this port back on. Okay, good. Right, let's take a look at the board. Okay, I'm going to go over those with the iron, just to be on the safe side. Okay, let's clean up. Okay, that port looks good. So I'm not expecting any change here just from doing that, but I'm going to try it anyway, just see if it's made any difference at all. Don't need the screening. There's no point keep plugging the screen in and out when I can read it off the USB amp meter. And 0.26 that side. And still nothing that side. So very, very doubtful that it's anything to do with the Type-C port. And I'm going to say it's probably something to do with one of the chips, to be honest. Okay, so let's go back under the microscope then. Let's try something else. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be looking at then is going to be this M92T36 chip, and I've got a feeling that this chip could still be bad even though those capacitors around it are not shorted, but I'm not going to change it yet. First of all, I'm going to try just reflowing it because those joints don't look the best, and I did notice that to start with. So let's try reflowing that chip and reflowing those joints back into place. Perfect. So let's just clean up and then I'll pop the battery back on. If this doesn't work, I'm probably going to end up changing that chip. The M92T36 is a power management IC, so pretty much a case of guesswork now as to what's going on with this. So let's just pop the battery in. And let's pop the Type C back in. Now we're up to 0.4 amps on that side. Okay, that's interesting because that's better than it was before. How about this side? Still nothing. However, that did change. Okay, now it's back to 0.28, which is strange. Could that be because the board was warm? I don't know. Right, that could have been because the board was warm. Right, okay, so what I'm thinking then is maybe let's have a look under the scope at the port itself actually. Yeah, the port itself looks absolutely fine. Doesn't appear to be an issue with the port. I'm thinking just replace that chip, to be honest. So let's get that chip off, shall we? Okay, so let's get a new chip. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back onto the battery. Let's see now if we get anything different. Yes. Okay, 0.41 that side. And as far as I know, this is the side that it's not charging. Bear with me a second. Yes. Okay, now we're charging both sides. Right. Awesome. Let me get the camera. It's going to be a little bit difficult. So, here's the board then. It's going to be tricky because my amp meter is very close to the plug socket on the back wall. So that side with no writing, you can see there we've got 0.41. So that's fast charge. Sorry, no, that's slow charge. Which is normal for a dead battery. If we flip this around, and there we go. So there's the port, and there is the amp meter. I do have a new amp meter on the way where I can use it on USB-C only instead of having to use it through a plug socket and things. But for now that will do. But that is charging both ways. So I'm going to get this thing back together, and then we'll test it. Leave it to charge for a bit, test it, and then make sure it's all fully working. Okay, so I'm going to get this back together then, and then we'll give it a full test. But it appears to be working at least on a slow charge now, so that's good. So while I'm actually putting it back together, let's just think about why this actually happened and why a chip can cause it to charge one way and not the other. Now, I'm not sure on the entire pinout for these. However, what I do know is that there are 24 pins on a USB-C port on a Nintendo Switch. I'm not sure if it's the same on all USB-C ports, but there are 24 pins on this USB-C port, and several of them are for power, but we also have pins for data. So we've got some data plus and minus on both sides, and we've also got, I think we've got two power. We've got a data plus and minus, so positive and negative on each side of the port. And we also have some USB detection pins. So there's a couple of USB detection pins on the port as well, and then several ground pins on top of that. And if the chip has become bad, if the chip has you know, burnt out or whatever, or become faulty in some way, shape or form, then it could have become faulty in the sense that the USB detection section has become faulty, because this M92T36 chip is responsible for several different things on the board itself, and one of those is power and another one is also the USB detection. So I haven't actually looked at the schematic for that chip, but I do know that it's responsible for power and also for data as well. So basically the USB comes in here and it goes up to this chip first, and then that chip distributes it to where it needs to go on the board. Now obviously, like I said, we don't have schematics for this board, but just based on a little bit of common sense and past experience, that's what led me to believe that that chip was potentially faulty. And you know, I've never actually come across it where it charges on one side and doesn't charge on another, where it's down to the chip. But like I said, just based on past experiences, that's going to cause me to check that chip first. If, for example, that didn't fix the issue, then I would have obviously looked into the P13 USB and also the BQ24193 as well, which is the BQ24193 is down by the battery, and that is the battery management IC. And the P13 USB, I can't remember exactly what it's responsible for. I know it deals with graphics, so the HDMI output, but I'm pretty sure it does some stuff with the USB as well. So I would have probably checked that before checking the battery management IC, because if the battery management IC was bad, then we wouldn't get charged on either side, because battery management IC just takes power in and power out. It doesn't deal with any kind of USB detection or anything like that. So I would have checked the P13 USB first. For some reason, I'm really struggling to get these ribbons in tonight. Don't know why. So I'm just going to put this back together enough for testing. or rather actually charging for now, because I need to get it charged. And then I'm going to go in the house and I'm going to plug it on the fast charger for 20 minutes or so. Because I don't have a fast charger capable of fast charging a Switch in the workshop. I have the charger to my phone and also an original Nintendo Switch charger, but they are in the house. They're not workshop property, and to be fair, I don't really need one in the workshop because I don't really deal with that many Switches. And just the fact that I've got one in the house, you know, it's not going to hurt to just pop in the house and just charge it in there for 20 minutes or so. Okay, so let's get that display connector in. And before I go any further, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plug in the battery and just attempt to turn it on. Now, it's not going to turn on because the battery's dead. Oh, maybe it is. Okay. No, the battery's dead. But what we can do now is we can actually plug this in. I'm going to be quick because my phone's about to die and I'm recording the video, so I'm on 8%, it's fine. So let's just plug the charger in from that way. And yep, we're getting the charging symbol there. Hopefully that comes across. Yeah, it does. Let's just flick it around now. I've just knocked the board out like a moron. And yeah, we get the charging symbol there as well. So excellent. So that is definitely charging. So what I'm going to do, rather than put it all back together, because I need to make sure it's obviously charging. So rather than sitting there and plugging everything in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this in the house now. I'm going to charge it up, and then once it's charged to around about 15%, I'll bring it back into the workshop and we'll finish testing and putting it back together. Okay, ladies and gents, so it's been a while and I've charged this enough. We're now on 48%. I haven't put the touchscreen on yet, but it's enough to say that this is actually fixed. So let's just plug this in. And we can see there it is clearly charging. And if we turn it around, again, we've got a charging symbol. So it appears to be fully working now, which is absolutely great news. So let's get this reassembled, and then we can call this fixed. And there we go. So that's fully reassembled. Okie doke. So let's get some isopropyl alcohol, and we'll give this screen a good clean. Just pop a drop on there. This cloth isn't going to scratch the screen as well. It's a very soft cloth. It's not microfiber, but it's a very, very soft cloth. I use these cloths all the time to clean screens. Never get any scratches from them. So it's not going to cause any problems. And those marks there, I believe, are scratches. So the problem is, when you clean a screen, it reveals a lot of scratches. Okay, so let's just give the other side a little bit of a clean. Whoops, a little bit of a splash there, never mind. Not really bothered about that warranty sticker, it's just a previous repair warranty sticker, I assume. Not really sure why it's there. I'm really not bothered about it. Awesome, there we go. Okay, so let's turn her on then. There is that Nintendo logo. Okay, so I don't have any Joy-Cons to verify that the Joy-Cons work, but I will get some before this gets sent back. It's like, I mean, it's 10:30 now at night, so. And why isn't the game cart working? Game cart not working. That's strange. Right. So FIFA 20 was in there, which makes me think something's happened to the game cart reader. Now obviously I couldn't test that before. Right, okay. I don't think it's going to be an issue with the cart itself, but I'm going to get another cart just to check. Okay, got myself a couple more carts here, and just going to check with these ones. Right, it's not reading the game cart. So that one's not reading. And nope. So we're not reading a game cart at all. Okay. So the question now is, was this an issue that was present before the before it come here? I don't know. However, what I do know is that this has been opened several times, so we could have ended up with some damage. So this is FIFA 19, and FIFA 19 is on here. So at one point it has worked, or at one point recently it has worked, in sort of the last year, I'd say. I don't know obviously when it was installed, but I'm going to try and figure it out. I'm going to have a look at the actual game cart itself, the game cart reader itself, and see if there's any reason it's not working. Which is a bit annoying because it means extra work, it means taking it back apart and stuff. I probably should have checked that before I actually put it back together, but that's my fault. One thing to note as well is the fact that the top section is broken, which means that there's been some kind of an impact on the top. Okay, so let's flip it round. And let's pop in FIFA 19. Yeah, that's not reading. Right, so let's just disconnect the battery a second. And I'm going to inspect this. The connection looks okay. I've just got thermal paste all over my hand. Lovely. The connector looks fine. So I'm going to say that if anything, it's going to be an issue with the actual reader itself. Right, so let's pop the switch back on. So all I've done is just reconnected it up. And let's plug that back in. Yeah, that's going to be an issue with the reader itself. Let me get another reader just to test it. Okay, so that's a non-good reader. So let's disconnect the battery again. There we go. Put that battery back in. Turn it on. And while that's loading, let's get that FIFA 19 out. And touchscreen working. There we go. So this is a bad card reader. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this then is I'm going to leave this card reader in. However, I'm not going to put it back together any further because the customer that has sent this in isn't my customer. This particular console has been sent from another business. So what I need to do is, obviously I'm going to be billing for the repair on the M92 T36. However, the complaint about the card reader not working isn't, you know, it's not reported on the console itself. So on the slip. So what I'll do is I'll leave it disassembled until tomorrow morning. I mean, like I said, it's 10:30 now, so I can't contact the person who sent this, the company who sent this. So what I'll do, I'll leave it all disassembled for now. It all appears to be working, but I'll leave it disassembled for now, and I'll basically confirm whether they want me to replace that card reader or not. Now, these card readers aren't cheap, so there's two options here. What I can do is, number one, I can buy just one of these actual card readers themselves, you know, the actual mechanism, and I do have a video on the channel. I'll link to that, where I actually change one of these actual card reader slots instead of the entire board. Or I can change the entire thing, but these are around about £40 each to buy as an entire unit, whereas it's half the price to buy just the actual reader. You can buy them for around about £7, but I'm not sure on the quality. So what I'll do is I'll leave it all disassembled for now. I'll put the heatsink back on, however, because that needs to go back on. But I'll leave the rest of it disassembled for now. Actually, you know what? Let's just put it back together. Let's finish this repair. I'll leave it as this, because I've got a feeling that the company's going to say just repair it, just replace the card reader, and the reason for that is because, you know, usually when I get a repair off this company, if there's any other issues with it that are not reported, then they do tend to say just repair it, and they either do it at cost or they speak to the customer. I don't know how they work, but you know, I'll send my invoice, I do my thing, and they deal with the payment side of it, and I deal with payments on my end to the company, because I don't invoice the customer, I invoice the company, and they have to deal with, you know, whatever extra middleman fees and whatever else they have to put onto it. But in terms of payment, the customer's not the person paying me, it's the company that sends it to me. So they'll probably just say repair it. But obviously I don't know that until I speak to them. But you know, if they wanted evidence to prove anything otherwise, then they can just refer to this video and just, you know, it's there in black and white showing that the card reader wasn't working. So yeah, let's just get this reassembled and we're going to call it done, and everyone's a winner. Everyone's happy. Well, everyone except the customer. They're not a winner. Never mind. It was a bit of a poor joke, I suppose. Oh, nearly forgot the SD card there. Let's try and be careful putting this on, because the battery has to be connected for this. There we go. Beautiful. Put that protective foam back over there. And what I might do actually is, because obviously I've got one of these card readers here available, so what I might do is just charge an extra, you know, I won't charge any extra cost, any extra labour for fitting that, but what I might do is charge around about 70% of whatever they're selling for at the minute. And the reason for that is because I can repair this. I can buy another card reader and repair that. I'm not gonna, you know, if I can get away with charging a little bit less for the sake of the customer and repair their old one, you know, that's great. I'll do that, and then I make a little bit of extra money, they save a little bit of money, and everyone wins. And there we go. So that is now fully reassembled. Everything appears to be working fine. So as we can see, insert the game cart, and there we go. So what I need to do on this, the final thing I do need to do on this is test Joy-Cons and make sure that it docks. You know, there's a few other tests that I'll do off camera, such as making sure that it connects to the internet, making sure it plays a game properly, doesn't overheat, and all of that sort of stuff. I do have a pretty big list of different things that I should connect to. I do have a few things that I should test before it goes back, but other than that, you know, it's one of them things. This console appears to be done, and it's another successful repair. So let's just summarise then. So, two problems with this console. First one, of course, being the one we've just fixed, and that is the card reader. But the main issue was that it wasn't charging on both sides of the console. And if we just verify that this is working again. So it wasn't charging on both sides of the console, and the reason for that was because of a faulty M92 T36 power management IC, which is this little thing just here. My camera's not going to focus on that, but that was the chip that went bad, and by replacing that chip we've obviously restored the charging. I've got a feeling it probably wasn't charging properly anyway, because it was only drawing 0.22 amps from the wall, which isn't a normal charge current. A normal charge current is 0.41 amps for slow charge and 1.41 to 1.45 amps for fast charge. Now obviously this isn't going to fast charge on here because it only puts out 9 volts, but fast charge is around 1.4 amps off of a normal USB-C lead, and I've got a feeling it wasn't charging at all just because it wasn't drawing enough power. It probably said it was charging, but it actually wasn't. So the reason it probably wasn't charging because of the chip, and wasn't being recognised on one side, was probably because of the USB-C detection part of the chip being faulty and not the entire chip, and that's why we still got a display on the screen when we plugged it in, but it just wasn't charging on one side. So by replacing that chip we've managed to restore the charging. This console appears to be working absolutely perfectly. By replacing this digitizer connector and also the headphone jack and the game card slot, we've managed to get the card reader working, so obviously cards can be played. That's probably happened from all the disassembly and reassembly, most likely, but the worst case scenario is I'm going to have to replace the actual game card slot and the Lego connector. Now if I was to replace the game card slot and the Lego connector, then it's going to come to the same cost as buying one of these anyway. But if I only charge the customer, you know, say for example 70% of the cost of it, then I can use that. I can use a little bit of that money to repair this, and then obviously, you know, have a fully working game cart slot again. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. If you do have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment section down below. If you do want to see more videos where I attempt to fix mainly consoles but sometimes other things too, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications so that you're notified every time that I upload. I am trying really hard to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're currently on 4,109 to be exact at the time of recording this. So if you could hit that subscribe button, it would really help out the channel a lot. And I am going to be giving away a PlayStation 4 and also a £50 PSN or Xbox One gift card to 2 lucky winners. So a PS4 for one person and the gift card for another when we get to 5,000 subs. So be sure to get subscribed so you don't miss out on that giveaway. And that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, see you later. Bye for now.